What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good weekend. I hope you were able to see Black Panther, but if not, you may not want to watch this video because I'm going to do a review of Black Panther. I saw it last night, and I will probably get into some spoilers. So it's kind of hard for me to talk about a movie and really give my full thoughts on it without mentioning specific things sometimes. So if you don't mind spoilers, you can go ahead and keep watching this movie. If you haven't seen it and you do mind spoilers, which most people do, then maybe you shouldn't watch this one. So yes, I saw Black Panther last night, and for those of you that have been watching my channel, my videos, you know that I've really been looking forward to Black Panther. Sorry about my voice, I have a little cold. So I've really been looking forward to Black Panther, especially since we saw him in Civil War, and I had a feeling that his movie was going to be really good. Chadwick Boseman was great in Civil War, so I was really looking forward to seeing him in his solo movie, his origin story film, and it did not disappoint. It lived up to my expectations of enjoying the movie and being a good story and a great cast. And I really, really, really like this movie a lot. I really like this movie a lot. It's probably safe to say that this is my favorite Marvel movie. I don't really have a favorite Marvel movie, like, up until now. I've never really said, I mean, I can kind of say I like this one more than that one, or I'd rather watch this one more than that one. But I've never had, like, a favorite. And I can probably say that this is probably my favorite Marvel movie. It was, I mean, in a way it could be because it was just like a breath of fresh air to have a new character that we haven't seen so many times before. And so that could be part of it. But, yeah, it was just a great movie. Like I said, great cast. They all did a really good job. Michael B. Jordan as the villain, as Killmonger. I had said a few times in my videos as well, like talking about trailers and stuff like that for this movie. I like him as an actor. It's not that I doubted him as an actor. It's just, in the trailers and stuff, I wasn't 100% sold on him as a villain. And so I was a little worried that I wasn't going to be totally convinced that he was going to be a good villain. And he proved me wrong in this movie. He did a really good job. He was menacing. He was crazy. He was a lot of the things that you want a villain to be. I do wish that some of his line delivery was a little bit better, a little more convincing, but that's just like a nitpick kind of thing. He did a really good job. I mean, Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, as T'Challa, was great, just like he was in Civil War. I love Angela Bassett. Lupita Nyong'o. I mean, they all did such a good job, and the women in this movie are awesome. They kick butt. They're strong. They are so cool, the women in this movie. The story was really good. I was hoping, like, I was a little worried that the story might be too predictable based on the trailers and just that we know it's, excuse me, that we know it's his origin story. So, I was hoping that there would be things that were unexpected and stuff that we had, like, wouldn't see coming just based on the trailers. And there were definitely things like that in this movie. And they also did a really good job of telling the story of the villain and building him up and giving us a good story of his motives, I guess you could say. And they did a really good job of that. Yeah, it was emotional. There were a lot of emotional parts in this movie that I wasn't expecting. I got teary-eyed a few times. I really did. And that's never happened to me with a Marvel movie either, like, ever. I've never felt emotional or, not to the point where I was, like, getting tears in my eyes. No, and that happened to me a couple times in this movie, actually. It was really cool to see. And believe it or not, one of those times was with the villain. Yeah, if you've seen the movie, you might know what I'm talking about. But it was really cool to see T'Chaka, a young T'Chaka. I think a lot of people assumed that we would, even just for a short period of time, since it's the origin story. And so that was cool to see, and they chose someone that looked like it would be Chadwick Boseman's dad, like when he was younger. It was really cool. Yeah, it was just great. The origin storytelling in the beginning of the film was really cool. It was really creative. It was really unique. It got to the point. It gave us a good idea of how to understand the certain things in the rest of the movie. You know, just certain things like, well, of course, the story of the Black Panther and the story of Wakanda and, you know, the vibranium and all that stuff. And so, and yeah, so it was really cool the way they told that story, and without taking up too much time, and, you know, still giving us a good idea of their history and all that stuff. So, yeah, it was really cool. I really liked the whole movie. Some of the CGI I wish was a little bit better quality, just for, but that's also, again, a nitpick. There's always going to be a lot of CGI in these movies, and there's always going to be times when it doesn't look the greatest. But, I mean, overall, yeah, I really liked it. I will probably be getting into spoilers now. That way, like I said, I can go into more details, so I'm not just rambling and repeating myself, but, which I've probably already been doing. But, like I said, got teary-eyed a few times. I got teary-eyed during, some of the emotional parts for me were when, if you've seen it, T'Challa, they're bringing him back, well, they're trying to heal him because they thought he got killed by Killmonger in the battle. And so when they find him, and that other tribe has him, the Man-Apes tribe, when they're trying to heal him, and, you know, they do their ritual for him to contact his father, the ancestors, when he's telling you know, by this time he's found out the truth about what his dad did to his uncle, what his dad did to his own brother, and, you know, left his nephew there and all that. And he's crying and telling him, like, you're wrong. We should be helping the world this whole time. We should be sharing our resources and our knowledge and our technology with the world and helping people. And, you know, that Killmonger, he's our fault. He's our responsibility. We're the reason that he's coming and doing all this. And that was an emotional part. And then another emotional part for me was actually, like I said, actually two parts with the villain, with Killmonger. It's crazy. I've never felt that before in a movie. One part when he's doing the ritual and talking to his dad, which was T'Chaka's brother, the prince, and when he's crying and, yeah, his dad's talking to him. I mean, that part was emotional for me. And the end with the villain. When T'Challa carries him out to the edge of the mountain to watch the sunset, to see Wakanda's beautiful sunset that his own dad had talked about, Killmonger's dad, and he's sitting there dying, and, you know, when T'Challa tells him, like, we can save you, you can tell that he didn't want to kill him, of course, but I mean, Killmonger was going to kill him, so he had to protect himself, but I could tell that he wanted to save him, and when he said that, you know, I thought that they might, but when Killmonger said, like, why are you going to save me, so I can just be a prisoner, and you guys can lock me up forever, and he's, you know, Killmonger, his dialogue, and his story, his motives are very historically grounded, And that was really cool. I liked how they kept going back to that. He kept going back to that. And that was a great way to really tell a historical narrative in this movie that was relevant and important, you know. And when he talks about how his ancestors, you know, jumped off of slave ships because they would rather die than be slaves. And he's referring to himself that he'd rather die than be locked up. That part, yeah, that part was like, that part really hit me. It was a powerful dialogue. It really was. It was, yeah, that part was emotional. Even when in the part, when they're still in the vibranium mine, when they're still fighting. Well, not when they're, well, yeah, they're still fighting, but, you know, T'Challa stabs him, and he starts crying and stuff, and talking to T'Challa, and they're both getting tears in their eyes and crying. I was like, oh my goodness. I can't believe I'm getting emotional about the villain right now. Like, it was just, I guess it was just their interaction and, you know, the whole thing about it. But it had such good moments. Their costumes. Oh my goodness. Beautiful costumes. They were so authentic. They were gorgeous. They were colorful. They were bright. They were, oh my goodness. I love all their costumes in this movie. Yeah, not just Chadwick Boseman and Killmonger's costumes. Of course, their suits were awesome. But everyone's, all the women, I mean, all the African garb, it was gorgeous. I really liked seeing that. All these really cool cultural details. They really put a lot of thought into all of this, and that's really cool when they do stuff like that, and it, you know, yeah, it was great. It was great. Yeah, I don't know what my other gripes would be with it. Just like I said, I just wish some of the delivery was a little better with Michael B. Jordan, but that was only a couple times. It wasn't throughout the movie. Humor, I guess I should address that, because one of the main issues I usually have with a lot of Marvel movies is that the comedy, it just takes over sometimes and doesn't allow you to get emotional and doesn't allow you to really feel what's going on and connect as much, because they take you out right away with a joke or a quip or something. And I think maybe that's why I was able to feel this movie more emotionally, because they didn't have all that stuff in this movie. There was humor, of course. It's totally fine to have humor in a movie. But it was more appropriately used. And I mean, there was maybe like one time that stood out to me where the humor kind of took me out a little bit, and that was when T'Challa and his mom and they all went to get him. Like I said, well, they didn't go to get him, they didn't know he was there at the other tribe, Manape's tribe. But when they're hugging him and saying that they're gonna help him, they'll support him in, you know, going back to their kingdom and, you know, getting the throne back and stuff like that from Killmonger. They're all saying they're gonna support him, and then the CIA guy, he was good in this movie too. I liked him. And, you know, they're kind of having like this reunion of sorts. And then Manape is like, are you done? Are you done? Like, that part, I know it was supposed to be funny, but it kind of just, I don't know, that was probably like the one humorous part that I didn't really like that much. It was funny when they were trying to scare the CIA guy, doing like their bark. See, stuff like that is funny, you know, and appropriately funny. And T'Challa's sister was also pretty funny. She was appropriately funny. Yeah, that was probably the one part of humor that I kind of wasn't liking that much. But other than that, I felt like most of the humor was fine. It didn't ruin the movie for me. It didn't start getting over the top, and, you know, which, like I said, in some Marvel movies, that is an issue for me personally. But this movie didn't really have that problem for me. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the action was good. I'm just trying to think of things off the top of my head. I'll probably think of things again later. But the action was really good. Like I said, story was great. Storytelling was good. Villain was good. Yeah, I think if I'm gonna rate this movie, I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10, or possibly even a 9. It was really great. Also, the technology and like awesome ideas that they thought about to include in this movie was awesome. Of course, we expect Wakanda to have stuff that's just on another level because that's their society. So the things that they thought of to do, like all of their little gadgets and technology and stuff that they have, and the way the Wakanda looks and stuff, was awesome. They really thought out of the box, and you know, thought of some really cool creative stuff, awesome stuff for them to have that would be, it's like leagues ahead of other nations in the world, you know. So it was cool that they really took the time to think about, you know, what would, like all this futuristic stuff that we don't have today. There were some pretty dark elements in this movie that I wasn't expecting. Like I said, if you've seen it, we find out that T'Challa's uncle, T'Chaka's brother, this is when we see a younger T'Chaka, when he's the Black Panther. You know, because I was wondering from the trailers how Killmonger was American, or seemed like he grew up in America, because he seemed like American in the trailers. At least like he grew up in America. So it was interesting to find out how that happened, and that was because T'Challa sent his brother, Prince N'Jobu, I think is how you say his name, I don't want to butcher it, to America as a spy. We find out that they have spies in like every nation on Earth, on the planet, whatever. And so he ends up having a child with an American woman, which is Eric Killmonger. Well, he becomes Killmonger, Eric. And however, the guy that he's living with, he doesn't know that he's actually a spy also, that T'Challa sent to spy on him. So, and of course we find out that T'Chaka's brother is responsible for helping Claw steal the vibranium that he stole from Wakanda and all that. And of course, Wakanda's supposed to be the real society of Wakanda, what they really are, is supposed to remain a secret and hidden away, which we find out in the origin storytelling. Because of their resources, they don't want to attract like attacks and invasions from other countries, right? So they protect themselves that way. But he revealed this, and so when T'Challa finds this out from the other spy, which we find out is James later on in the movie, he tells him, like, you're going to return to Wakanda, face the council and all that. And then the brother tries to shoot the other spy, and T'Chaka saves him and ends up killing his own brother. And then him and the other spy, James, I think was his name, yeah, they leave back to Wakanda, but they leave the child, which is Eric. And when they revealed that part in the movie, I was like, wow. I mean, it's cool because T'Challa finds out at the same time that the audience finds out. And so I think it makes it that much more, it has that much more of an impact. And no one else knows. Like, T'Challa's mom doesn't know. Nobody knows in the council. No one knows. So, the rest of them find out when Killmonger makes it to Wakanda and tells them who he really is. And, yeah, it was, that definitely not threw me off in a bad way. It caught me by surprise. And it added a whole nother element to, Killmonger's story and stuff like that. So, and it also added another element to T'Challa's story as well. Finding this out about his dad, who he loved and respected so much. And I don't want to say viewed him as perfect, but I think if anyone found that out about their dad, it would be really hard to accept, you know, because we just don't think of our parents as being capable of doing stuff like that when we've never seen them do something that's disappointing, or, you know, something like that. So it definitely added a whole nother element to the movie, which I think was important because we want villains and superheroes to have good backstories and stuff like that. So we also learned the connection between T'Challa and Killmonger and that they were family. So yeah, it was just, yeah, it was great. Ryan Coogler, the director, he did a good job. And yeah, like I said, I'd give this movie an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. It definitely has a rewatchability factor for me that a lot of other Marvel movies don't have. Of course I've watched Marvel movies more than once, but not, but like, how do I explain this? I don't leave the theater most of the time for Marvel movies saying, I can't wait to watch it again. Not in a bad way. It's just that, you know, I enjoy them, and then, you know, I watch them like a long time after again. But anyways, guys, there's probably a few things I forgot to mention, but like I said, I just watched it last night. Sometimes when you watch it the second time, you pick up on more things and stuff like that. So I do hope to watch it again. And check out my geek merchandise in the link below in the description if you have not. And thanks again, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next time.